Okay, so a very interesting story has come out following a certain drinks night that happened last night with Kemi Badenoch. And according to Sam Coates of Sky News, his colleague Paul Twin, who I believe was either at the event or he overheard this from somebody else. But I should point out is that actually, I think this story has sort of confirmed something that I was sort of half thinking of in my mind at the time, but it's sort of a little bit more solidified at this point. And it is this. Apparently, they said that about 25 people turned up to Kemi's drinks night, and they said the atmosphere was flat, and they said that, well, probably even flatter than the Prosecco they used. Now, I'm going to just lay it on the line, guys, and maybe I'm sort of getting ahead of myself by saying this, but I think I can sort of see the writing on the wall about this. And, well, Kemi Badenoch. Here's something you may want to be interested in. I've actually done quite a bit of my homework on Kemi Badenoch. I just so happen to know that she's very, very outspoken about being very proud of being half Nigerian. I've heard that she's very, very proud of who she is, and I've also been very, very proud. She's also very, very proud of her family. I've heard there's actually quite a lot of things that make her sound very, very liberal and actually very, very. It's when you actually listen to some of the things that Kemi says, it seems as if she actually sort of understands that the old Etonian sort of Tory MP is an absolute dinosaur, a thing of the past, and you get people who are voting for Conservative from all different backgrounds for a variety of different reasons. And personally, guys, I don't think the Daily Mail or the Express are happy about this. I don't think any of the right-wing press about this. I think there's a reason why they're making such a song and dance about reform. It's because, well, it's got, you know what? It's got nothing to do about whether or not the press think that the Tories have gone woke because Kemi Badenoch is their leader. But I think it actually goes quite a lot further, guys, than this. I think it goes down to the fact that, well, Kemi Badenoch is a black woman. I think that's why the press don't like Kemi Badenoch. I think, deep down inside, the Tories are not happy with the idea of Badenoch being their leader because it makes the Conservatives look more left-wing than Labour. And I don't think there are people out there who necessarily would disagree with that. Because of the because reform is sort of capitulating to not only the sort of policies that the Conservative Party of 5 years ago would probably more than ready to take up with the likes of Boris Johnson, but I think it's because, well, it's not the sort of the image that the Conservatives have really ever had. They've never really had the image where it's where they've had a black female leader before. Now, of course, the Conservative Party have had female leaders before. They've had Thatcher, they've had Theresa May, they've had Liz Truss. All of them, well, very, very mixed and will ultimately not have the best reputation or legacy during their time in the hot seat. Let's be honest. Thatcher, self-explanatory. Liz Truss, also very self-explanatory. And the only thing to say about Theresa May is that for a woman who voted against leaving the European Union, her opening mission statement and her time was to get Brexit done. And, well, how do you suspect that's going to happen if she doesn't agree with it? And that was just the beginning of Theresa May's issues. But, well, but then again, I think even if we're not going to go with the idea that the press don't like a black woman as being the leader of the Conservative Party, so therefore they will go even further into the direction of the right towards Nigel Farage. Well, let's also think about it like this. 14 years of Tory government from 2010 to 2024. And during that time, ladies and gentlemen, well, let's not forget about everything that's happened. Austerity, Brexit, Partygate, well, Liz Truss having perhaps the second shortest premiership of any prime minister in this country. And bear in mind, I had the misfortune of reading Liz Truss's memoirs. The fact that she compares her premiership as prime minister to Brian Clough's time as manager of Leeds United is, listen, I don't support Leeds United, but that is a very, very jarring thing to say. I haven't even seen The Damned United, which is the entire film talking about Brian Clough's time at Leeds United. But I'm sat here thinking to myself, she doesn't get it, does she? And well, maybe I'm the one who doesn't get it, because, well, let me also put it to you like this. Because of what I said earlier about how I did my research and talked about how Kemi Badenoch is very, very proud and very, very open about her heritage, where she came from, her family and stuff like that. If that's the sort of thing that absolutely the press would have just ate all that up, they would have said, well, you know what? This is the Conservative Party turning over a new leaf. It's not about the old self-interested multi-billionaires telling people what they can and cannot do. That is over with. They've turned over a new leaf. They're going to get back in the saddle as quick as they can, and they're going to grab the bull by the horns. But I don't think the press are pushing for that agenda. I really, really don't. You want to know how I know that? Because they come out with headlines about Kemi Badenoch saying the Prime Minister's got no balls when it comes to the very, very divisive issue about transgender rights and what counts biologically as a woman or not. It's the fact that, one, they were retorting to insults and not anything actually based on... And that's the most recent thing I can think of where they actually highlight Kemi Badenoch. They don't highlight her on terms of, well, anything else. Anything else that might make any sort of impact to out from, again, from public services to education, the NHS. Nothing like that whatsoever. And let me tell you something right now. If they wanted to make Kemi Badenoch more convincing, not only to take take all the publicity away from Labour, but also take a lot of the publicity away from Reform, then guess what? They would have just done it. I think there's actually quite a lot more that goes on behind the closed doors of the Conservative Party. Not just, well, not only because of their policies and how they are going to try and get back to number 10 as fast as they can. But either they do, or, as I said before, maybe the press, they don't want people to know what's going on. But why is that? Is it because they think the Tories have gone all woke? Or is it because they would rather have a white middle-class man in charge as opposed to a black woman? And I don't know about you guys, but let's think about it like this. When you phrase it like that, well, what is it then? Because bear in mind, we are still under what I definitely call the Rupert Murdoch age of gutter press journalism, and it's I think it's also had one of those instances where, guess what, its influence still lingers, and it's not really going away anytime soon. And I'm sorry to say this, but you know what? Well, when are they actually going to show anything about why it would be worth trying to convince the public to vote for Kemi Badenoch or vote for the Conservatives again? I'm only mentioning this because, well, if they really do want to get back into number 10, then guess what? They're going to actually have to put up a fight. But they can put up all the fight in the world they want, but they also need the backing of people to, well, the backing of the press, and to spread about news about exactly what their plans are. Because how else are we meant to know about them if we're not told about what they are? But like I said before, this is this is the sort of thing that, well, people will believe £67 million a day or whatever it is for the NHS, and people believed it just because Boris Johnson put it on the side of a bus. I think after nearly 10 years, I think people have sort of will look back on this, and it's kind of going to taint a lot of people's opinions about the Tories. But what do you guys think? Do you think that they are going to play the softly approach, or do you think that the Tories secretly they don't want Badenoch because she's not who they represent, either in their policies or for something a bit more personal? You tell me.